Hello everyone, welcome back. This is going to be another horror movie list. I wanted to do a companion to the video that I just posted that was the lowest rated movies on Rotten Tomatoes that I think are good. This is going to be the highest rated movies that I think are bad, or that don't necessarily, not that they're bad, but I don't think they deserve the high percentage that they have. So I have 5, and then I'm going to do 5 that I agree with their high rating, but I'm surprised that they're not higher, if that makes sense. So if that sounds interesting, give this video a thumbs up and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. I do mostly makeup, but I also like horror movies, so I do horror movie reviews. And I usually test out a palette or play with a palette while I do that. And then I've been doing these lists. And yeah, I just like horror and makeup. So yeah, if that sounds interesting, hit that subscribe button. And we're going to get into it. So I went on to Rotten Tomatoes and I went into the horror section, and this list was their 100 best movies, like 100 greatest movies, according to their list. So that's where I got these from. So the first one that I have is The Babadook, which came out in 2014. This has a 98% rating. A lot of people like this movie. I didn't particularly care for it. And it wasn't necessarily that it was a bad movie. I just saw it one time and I'll never watch it again, kind of a situation. And I'm not entirely sure why it's at 98%. Like I said, I just thought it was okay. Like, I know there's a lot of people, because I hear people talk about this movie. So I know that there's a lot of people that like it, and I'm pretty much alone in my thinking that it wasn't that great. Number 2, I have It Follows, which came out in 2015. Again, this has 96%. Again, this wasn't a bad movie. It was an independent movie. I think it's on Netflix currently. But I'm not sure why it's at 96%. There's some kids and there's a presence following them and it starts picking them off. Like I said, it wasn't bad, but I wouldn't say that it was 96%, considering that I have, again, 5 movies coming that were less than that were actually good. So I'm not sure why it's at 96% or why it's in the top 100. The Witch, I have at number 3. Came out in 2016. Again, there's a lot of people that like this movie. This movie is at 90%. And again, it's not a bad movie. It has Donald Sutherland in it. The cast is good. It was just kind of slow, and there wasn't, I don't know. Again, there's a lot of people that love this movie. I'm just not one of them, and I'm not sure why it's at 90%. And again, I'm not sure why this made it into the top 100 on Rotten Tomatoes. Because again, I pulled this 5 and the next 5 from the top 100 horror movies on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 4, I know why it's on this list, but I don't particularly care for it, and that is Eraserhead. It came out in 1977. If you've never seen it, it's generally a movie that you will hear about, see in film class. If you'd ever take a film class, this is typically a movie that shows up in film classes. It has a big cult following. It's just a weird movie. If memory serves, I think it's in black and white. I don't even remember. I want to say that it's in black and white, and that nothing against black and white movies. But I think that was supposed to add, like I said, it came out in 77, and it's just an odd independent movie. And it's going to be one of those movies where you're either gonna, like, it's going to speak to you, or you're going to be like me and like, no. It's at 90%. Like I said, I know why it's on the top 100, because it is such a big cult movie. But I don't know if it deserves the 90% rating. Because there's movies on this list that were on the top 100 that didn't hit the 90 mark. That's why I have a bottom. Another 5. And then number 5 was Slither. It came out in 2006. It's only at 86%, so it's not as high as some of the others, but it's just a gross movie. Again, I saw it once. I'll probably never ever watch it again. It wasn't a bad movie. The special effects were good, but it was just gross and just not my movie. So now we're going to get into 5 movies that, yes, I do agree with them being in the top 100, but their ratings seemed kind of low considering the ones that I just listed were all above 90 except for Slither, 90 or above. Number 1 I have is Ginger Snaps. Was only at 89%. Came out in 2001. This is probably my favorite werewolf movie of all time, hands down. And I'm not a big werewolf fan. I feel like horror fans fall into 2 camps. You're either in the vampire camp or the werewolf camp. I'm definitely in the vampire camp. Hands down, prefer vampire movies. But I do occasionally find a werewolf film that I like. Ginger Snaps 1, 2, and 3 are all good. The second one's probably the worst out of the 3 if you were going to rank them, but they're all good. And like I said, the first one I owned on DVD, watched it like 6 times when I bought it. It's just a good movie. If you've never seen it, you're missing out. But I don't know why it's only at 89%, because again, it's another cult movie that everybody talks about, and I'm surprised that it wasn't in the 90s. Number 2, Poltergeist. Not a shocker that that's on the top 100, but it's only at 85%. And this is the original, not the remake. I haven't seen the remake. I kind of I'm protesting against so many remakes recently because I haven't seen Child's Play or Pet Sematary, the remakes. I will watch them eventually. I don't know why they feel the need to remake every single movie. 1982 is when Poltergeist came out. And yeah, it's a cult movie. It still holds up. That's probably why I'm protesting the remake, because it didn't need to be remade. And I'm surprised it's only at 85%, considering Eraserhead is at 90. It just kind of boggles my mind a little bit. Number 3, American Werewolf in London. Again, it's a cult classic. Rick Baker did the special effects. I'm pretty sure he won an Academy Award for it. It's worth watching for the special effects alone, considering it came out in 1981. And the werewolf transformation sequence in that is still probably one of the best. It's only at 87%. And again, I'm surprised that it's not in the 90s, considering The Babadook is rated at 98%, but American Werewolf in London is only at 87%. Who's rating these movies? Like, I know viewers are rating them, but I'm confused. Number 4 is The Exorcist. Again, it's not a surprise that this is in the top 100. It's a classic, came out in 1973. It's only at 85%. Again, It Follows was at 96. And number 5, I have The Shining. Again, cult classic movie. This is the original Shining, not the remake, and the remake's not bad. Shining came out in 1980. Great movie. Again, 85%. And then you have The Witch and It Follows at 90 and 96. So I'm confused on why those were not that that's a low rating, but I feel like those movies should have been higher than the ones that I talked about that in the first 5. So yeah, definitely go on Rotten Tomatoes and check out, because some of their ratings, again, I did a list of the lowest rated movies on Rotten Tomatoes that are good. But again, horror movies are very subjective, and people have very strong opinions and are very passionate about why their opinion is the way it is in the horror community. So I don't want people to come for me too hard in the comments. But yeah, I figured I would do this as a follow-up, and I figured I needed to film it now because it took me like a month after I wrote the other 2 lists to actually film those videos. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Hopefully you enjoy these kind of videos. Leave me some comments down below. Did you agree with my bottom top picks and the ones that I felt like should have been higher? Let me know. Go on Rotten Tomatoes, look at the lists. Are there any others that are on that top 100 that you're like, no? Because leave those comments down below too. I would be very interested. And yeah, again, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.